We are now recording. All right. Make sure everybody knows we're being recorded.
We're being recorded.
All right. So welcome, everybody. I got my Jamaican cream soda, and you know that it's me because I got the hat on. Dwayne, I just lost your video.
I'm here. I just want them to get the background.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yes, sir.
Wilkins World is on the podcast. I got my cream soda. We got Wilkins World on the podcast. Just took off the hat. You know it's real now. You know it's real now.
It's very real. Whenever me and Dave get together, we probably could save the world. We are brothers in arms here.
100%. And I appreciate my project management brother taking some time out of the day to talk with me. I want to reach way back in the crates to our last conversation. That's not way back in the crates, but we are reaching back in the crates because it was about a month ago. And I was literally just in a conversation with a local organization, because they were talking about using AI to discover, what's in their data. And I said, well, because that was a conversation you and I had last time. And I said, well, what have you done with your data so far?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And he said, well, we haven't even pulled it. And I said, well, you like that, right?
That's a scary scenario.
Really, really terrifying. And I said, well, what? Yeah. And I said, well, how do you know what questions you're supposed to ask the AI if you haven't pulled your data, right? Yeah. Like, where's the contextualization around what you're going to say to the AI and ask it to do for you if you don't even know what's in your data?
Mm.
And I was walking out of that meeting, and the director of the organization was walking with me to my car, and she says to me, well, we have our email list, and we don't even know who's on our email list. And I think we might be missing a big opportunity there. And I was like, yes, you are. Because all of that is data, and there's 0% reason why you should be sitting in your office and you don't know what data is in your email list. Mm-hmm. How are you even supposed to interact with an AI system? Like, yes, it's the shiny new tool, right? But how are you supposed to even interact with the AI system if you have 0% idea what's in your data?
Absolutely. You have to train the AI. You almost have to give it. You have to give it inputs to get outputs.
That's 100% correct. That is 100% correct.
Sigma in me now showing inputs and outputs.
That's it, right? If you don't have the inputs, you're not getting the outputs.
Absolutely not.
So she was shocked because I spent 30 minutes with them, and I was still having the conversation with her as I was walking out the door to my car, because I got to my car half a second before the parking officer was going to give me a ticket.
Oh wow, that was well timed.
A wizard appears precisely when he means to.
Yeah, absolutely. You're like the equalizer.
That's right. Like right there, right when it's supposed to happen. But those are conversations that and I said, well, you haven't, yes, you want to use the AI tool. I think we should absolutely do that after we start this. This is what data we need to pull. This is what's in the data. These are preliminary analyses that we have done, and we're starting to make data-driven decisions. And now that we know what data-driven decisions mean, then we can go and ask the AI to do things for us.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Yeah. You have to have a plan. Usually when I'm consulting with the client, I'm trying to figure out what is the big idea. What is the big idea for your company, and what are you trying to accomplish? Because if I know that, I know what to input in the data to get like a result, to get your vision painted out, right? To get the end result. So even like with the new AI tools where they do like not videos, but
Oh no, they do videos.
pictures. When they do, yeah, they do videos, but when they do like pictures, you have to tell them exactly what you want for them to
Right.
come up with these elaborate, right? These
Hmm.
elaborate pictures. So if you don't have an idea of who you're trying to reach, what you're trying to accomplish, where you're trying to go, where to find those people, you cannot, you cannot, you can't move forward till you have those
Right.
things. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, 100%. You know, you just reminded me of actually, I lost you. There you are.
Yep.
But you just reminded me of some AI image generation that I worked on a couple of months ago. I haven't posted it yet, but I should absolutely put it up on the Brezler business page, and and just talk about these are things that you can produce, but you can only produce them if you know what you're asking.
Yes. That's
Right, like
absolutely true.
just exactly what you were saying. Like you in order to generate that image,
Hmm.
you can't just be like, all right, well, give me this. That's not how that goes, right?
We're gonna not hardwire. We're gonna short circuit trying to read your mind.
Right.
You
Yeah,
have to.
there's no mind reading.
Yeah, you have to know your data. And look, we're in the time. I can say this to you, and I'm sure you will. Maybe agree, but at least understand my thought process. That in the next 5 years, if people don't know how to reach backwards to input data to use the new systems of today, they're going to get left behind. If you're not using social media, you're
That
not
is already
mastering
happening.
AI tools, you're not up
That
to
is already
date. I
happening.
mean, dang it, man. It's already happening, right? Dang it, man. If you don't know who's in your email list, if you're not using the CRM or something like that, and you're not trying to walk it back, at least you're done.
Yeah.
And that means you got to spend extra money, maybe hire a project manager, maybe two, maybe the two of us, right?
Yeah.
To help you like unravel that, you're gonna have an issue.
I,
You're gonna have an issue.
I've told you this before, and I'm going to say it again. I dream about the day that you and I get to work on a project together,
Oh, that'd be
because
great.
that would be the most gold standard thing that has ever happened on the
Right.
planet.
Most likely, yeah. You got high level communications all through and through, right?
Yes,
Expert level
exactly.
execution.
And I will tell you, I was working with a whole different organization, not the one I was talking to you about, that was trying to use the AI tool and they didn't have their data yet. But I
Yeah.
was working with a completely different organization, and they were at an event, and they had a sign-in sheet at the event, and like, let us know if you're interested.
A sheet.
And a sign-in sheet, a handwritten sign-in sheet, not something that was collecting this and dumping the stuff into, right, but just a handwritten sign. And the leader was sitting there entering into a note uh,
On a
a,
cell phone?
a note app on his phone, entering the data. I was like, bro, let me scan these pages. I will dump the scans into a free CRM for you, and then let me show you what I got after that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's scary.
That's still happening in 2024, right? And so
Yeah.
here you and I are having this conversation. I've done the 2 micro credentials from Project Management Institute on generative AI, right?
Yep.
Um, it, it, I'm speechless, right? I'm like the Lamborghini,
Hmm.
and I'm sitting next to a 1965 Volkswagen Bug,
Hmm.
right? And I'm
What they
like,
call that
listen,
movie?
man,
Herbie?
Herbie.
Herbie. You sitting next to Herbie.
Um, by the way, that was not a joke. Like, they used to be able to tune those things. At that point in history, you could take a Porsche engine and put it into a Bug, because it was the same. That's a real thing.
Wow.
And so you could have a race ready Herbie.
That's
And
funny.
but that's not that. But that's just, those interchange, the point in history where you could interchange those engines. At the same
Hmm.
time, there were also these crazy whacked out modifications. You could completely remap the exhaust, put different air filters, completely uh, retool all of the internal mechanics of the original Volkswagen engine so that it did some wild things. But pardon me, that's all mechanical stuff. That not the point of what we're talking about. But
That's for the next show.
That's for the next show. I want to get back to what you said on the last conversation, where you were actively using AI tools for your communications management already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'm diving into it even more now that we've hired an executive admin, and for me to streamline my thoughts to get it to her for her to produce what I need produced, I'll usually go to Chat GPT, dump the idea. It gives me, a paragraph, a sentence, a contract, right? And then I mitigate it. Then I send it to my VE or my executive admin and say, all right, this is the idea. Fine tune this so we can get it to the client or have it prepared for when we get new clients, right? So, last year, maybe without Chat GPT, I was running and I was running pretty good. I was getting a good pace. This year with Chat GPT, I'm at least on a motorcycle, right? I'm at least on a motorcycle. Once I really get into it, because they have different versions of it where you can customize your chat, right? I will be in a Ferrari with like 7 wheels,
Yeah.
with fire shooting out the back, like the Batmobile. And I, in my professional opinion, to anybody that listens to this podcast, if you're not getting into that, it's an issue because most people are like buffering their thoughts, and that's what's holding up the rest of the company. I don't know how to do that. You didn't put it in chat because chat would
Right.
give you the top 5 ideas. You didn't do that. Why do you have to create everything? Don't. Find people who are smarter than you or use tools who think faster than you so you don't go out of business.
That's really where the whole thing is. The driver behind all of this is that the Gen AI is a tool. It's not a replacement. It's not something that can do your job. It's a tool. And the people, this is what you were saying earlier, the people that are getting left behind are the ones who haven't absorbed the utility of the tool.
Yes.
And leveraged it for its greatest effect. Right. I mean, the second I went through these trainings, I was able to get social media scheduling and, topic ideas and even how to target clients out of the tool. Right. I can use the existing Microsoft 360 implementation. And by the way, this is not behind the veil stuff. This is published on Microsoft's site, right? But you can use the existing Microsoft 360 tools with the Copilot app that is inside the tool to completely remap your workflow for scheduling, budgeting, communications, and file management. Okay. And, exactly. And because the system itself is absorbing data at rates that we can't even comprehend, but then you can ask the system, hey, tell me what's going on. Give me some analyses of the communications. How many times am I communicating with this person? What's the most frequent time that I communicate with this person? And like that kind of where the linkages between my networks. That the existing tool can tell you that. Wow. Right. So you don't even like the level of speed that the tool generates. Here's a great example of how that could potentially work. Right. Southwest Airlines know your data, right? Southwest Airlines took its data, dumped it into the AI tool. I think it used an implementation of Chat. I think I have to go find the article again, but used an implementation of Chat GPT. It was like, hi, look at this. Tell us where the flaws are.
Mm.
They saved something like 4,000 flight hours and some thousands of tons of exhaust because they were able to tighten
Wow.
up the scheduling, shorten wait times, improve the customer experience, and guarantee on time delivery with the tool that they so vastly improved the entire operational flow that they cut out. Now imagine, and it's thousands of tons of exhaust, right? Saved, just eliminated. It never happened, right?
Wow.
That's one airline. Imagine if
Jesus.
every single airline saved thousands of tons of exhaust per year.
What if every airline, trucking company, or any logistics company that has to burn fuel to move things around did that?
That's what, yeah, right. I'm just talking about the airline industry, right?
Just the airline.
Yeah. But yeah, 100. So you and I started our interaction on the offshore wind experience. The shipping industry, the commercial shipping industry, is already looking at how they can lessen fuel usage and use, what do you call more biofuels, more electric engines, right?
Yeah.
You're going to see sails coming back, like cloth sails on boats to push them
No.
across the ocean. Yes, but on a massive sails on these boats, right? Because
Really?
you know what the size of shipping container boats. Look, you were at the port of in Elizabeth, right? You saw the size. You saw the size of container ships. Imagine container ships with sails on them.
Plus, they're a weight, so the woman will have to pull them and push the weight.
Yeah, but when you're talking about open ocean, the wind that exists on the open ocean is so intense, right? It has, like, we think about our biggest experience with heavy winds is when a subtropical storm or even a hurricane comes up the coast, right? That is nothing compared to, I mean, like hurricane force winds are 75 miles an hour, yes, but you're out on the open ocean. That's just what the wind is like.
Wow, that's just another day in the neighborhood.
Because there's nothing out there to stop it, right? There's no trees, there are no buildings, there's no valleys, there's nothing. You cannot stop the wind, right?
Right.
So imagine a sail the size of one of the shipping containers boats.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
in a good way. It's something I'd like to see. Yeah,
and they're actively working on that. However, it's like I heard in a fitness podcast the other day. I can always get better.
Yeah.
Right. So they're already doing these things. Imagine if they deployed the AI. To circle back to, I'm saying all of this to reinforce your specific point, which is, imagine every logistics modality deployed the AI and was like, fix this, right? We wouldn't have to have arguments about, well, renewable energy. We would just cut out, because emissions is 30% of the calculation.
Wow.
30% of the calculation, right? Imagine and you know this because I know you've seen charts once or twice, right? Imagine you just zeroed out 30% of the total calculation in the next 10 years. Like, you subtracted out that chunk over a 10-year period. We would get to below 1.5 degrees Celsius tomorrow.
Wow. Yeah. No, that's true. I think part of the reason we sometimes suffer as just humans that run business, our parents, whatever, right? Just in general, just as a community of human beings, is we take so long to make decisions on things, right?
Right.
So one of my newest things is make the right decision twice as fast, because that's the way the world is going. Things are happening. Yeah. You know, make the right decision twice as fast, and that will eliminate some of the problems, and most people just don't.
And that's what
And
the tool can do for you.
right. And so, and this is a very project manager thing, right? Everybody doesn't operate this way. Where's my book? Let me show you this book I got right here. Bam. Everybody doesn't work this way. This book called Surrounded by Idiots deals with disc training and different personality types, and it puts into context how to deal with other kinds of folks and put them in their proper place to get things done, right? And so the project manager and us are all surrounded by idiots, right? If we want to get to the crux of the issue, leverage the points, and get to fix the problem as quickly as possible, that is exactly what our job is to do, and then improve quality and all that good stuff, like you mentioned before. But if we make
That's a
decisions,
fantastic.
yeah, if we
That's
make
fantastic point.
decisions twice as fast, whether it's our brain or the chat GPT's brain, we'll be able to do things a lot quicker. We'll lessen just arguments, right?
Yeah,
About making right decisions, and we'll just make the right one,
that's
right?
right. No,
And
it's
I
100%
see
true.
that opportunity with AI. Yeah, it's
So
big.
hashtag leadership, right?
Hashtag leadership. Listen,
So
I've got so many books on this desk. I got this one too, Mastery. So
yeah.
Master AI, right?
Mhm.
All this other stuff. I won't get into the rest of what I got, but yeah, leadership is probably the most important
Yeah,
thing.
and the error is always people think that the boss is the leader, right? Nobody wants to work for boss, right? You
Right.
like I walk in, oh, that boss. No, nobody wants to work for that person.
No, they don't.
I don't care. I don't care how you represent yourself on whatever spectrum. Nobody wants to work for boss,
Right.
right? Nobody wants to be in an environment where the beatings will continue until morale improves. That's not how no one wants to work
Not
that,
how
especially
humans
not
work. Yeah.
especially not in the post pandemic, work from home and everything digital experience. Like you don't have robots that can do full construction yet. You have robots that are able to speed up several construction processes, but not that can do full construction yet. However, anything that's just manual labor that has to be done by hand, those are the only things that aren't getting sped up by AI or robots right now.
Right.
Everything else, you have to figure out how to do how to do that process by using leadership skills. And if you have not been trained in it,
Mm-hmm.
and if you are resistant to absorbing that training,
Mm-hmm.
you will not succeed.
Not at
You will
all.
not succeed. And I literally to your point about the communication being super critical, I literally just had to do this last week where I was working with that same organization where the guy was writing stuff on the phone, right?
Yes. Yes.
I had to communicate with their website manager.
Mm-hmm.
That guy had a 10-minute conversation with one person inside the organization that had
Yeah.
so riled him up that he was completely resistant to doing anything operational for the organization again.
Wow.
Okay. And so I had to call him and be like, look, I'm just, it's like, look, I understand. And this is literally what changed the conversation. I hear you. I understand what you're saying. I respect your opinion. And while I'm doing all of those things, if I could please just have the codes that I called you to get and then I won't bother you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I was able to get that and move the project down the road. But the problem is that like one conversation for 10 minutes from somebody in the organization that has zero leadership skills, zero communicative ability, like had completely bungled the maneuverability with this linchpin person, right?
Yeah.
Who's the consultant that manages the website. Imagine what happens if that guy goes rogue.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. People, time, and money, and these three letters tend to destroy people, businesses, families, you name it. EGO. All the time.
EG, yeah. I thought those represented something, but then I thought about it for 2 seconds. I was like, what do those stand? Oh, I got it.
Yeah. Yep. We could probably make our own acronym for it, right?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
ego,
But you don't need one.
Yeah. Hey, listen, got him.
Right.
But ego. And everybody's got to check their own ego. I got to check mine sometimes, and there's different levels of ego. That's another show. But ego will do this, right? I'm working in a factory, and there's a 6 foot something male arguing with a 5 foot nothing woman. Now, not to bring race or culture into it, but it's purposeful for the point.
I mean, that's it's a completely valid, right?
Yeah, it matters in this scenario. The woman, little Spanish woman, probably, not originally from this country, probably very new, but has to work and is able to work. And this gentleman, African American male, and they're arguing, and a big age difference. And I walk up. What's going on, everybody? She won't, and she's in Spanish, right? One thing I did is leadership, because I had to deal with different folks. I learned their language enough to communicate. So I started speaking Spanish to her. What's the matter? And calmed her down and got between him and her, right? On purpose. That's
space,
right? Space everybody. Give everybody time to cool down. What's going on? She tells me what's going on. Okay. Bro, what's happening? Oh, this is going on, that. And I said to him, because there's rapport, right? Leadership, there's rapport. Listen, man, did it ever occur to you that she don't speak English?
Right.
And your body language is the only thing she's understanding. All she sees is aggression and big. He goes, I didn't think about that. I said, right. You're yelling at a brick wall because she doesn't speak your language. So you think what you're doing is effective? No. Okay, I'm only saying that to you because we're both from here and we both speak the same language.
Yeah.
Then I turned to her and I said something, whatever I said to her in Spanish. Hey, this, and this. She said, okay. I'm like, all right. Man, they became fast friends. Not only did they become fast friends, it picked up the speed of the line and the quality of what was being produced at the end of it. Leadership, ego. I'm yelling at somebody in a language they don't speak. You would think that most people would stop and say, they don't understand me, not just thinking about how they feel offended, because it doesn't matter. Everything in this factory, we don't take home. It doesn't belong to us. So why are we fighting about it anyway?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? That's such a crucial point that as project managers, and I want to be respectful of both our times. So we like this will probably be the last point that we wrap up. But
sure.
Project managers, and I know that you know this, but project managers spend 90% of their time communicating, right?
Yes.
And it's communicating not just in your modality and your language at your location. It's, project management is now global, regardless of what you're doing.
Yeah.
It does not matter what you're doing.
Yeah, man.
So if you have if you have that responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
you need to figure out and calculate what sort of tools that you need, just like you did, right? Okay, I'm project manager. I'm in this space. It means I need Spanish,
Uh-huh.
right? And I need to be not just I need Spanish, but I need Spanish at this level, right?
Yeah.
I might not need
Yeah.
to be up here, but I damn well
Right.
better be like at least here because I
Yeah.
know that I'm going out in the store or the factory or whatever it is, and I got to do this, right?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
if I don't get it to at least here, you know, I'm sunk.
Right.
So
I'm ineffective.
yeah, 100%. Because you
Yeah.
know for a fact that I mean, I used to say this not jokingly at all. I used to say this. I want to say like 20 or 30 years ago when I first started realizing things in the world. But you know, you're in America, speak Spanish, right? And that's hugely controversial and very political right now. A lot of people are going to
Yeah.
argue. We're the only country that doesn't require its students to be multilingual when they graduate from high school. The only
Really.
advanced industrialized country. We do not require our students to be
Mm.
multilingual when they graduate high school. In how many countries does the United States have business? It's a real simple answer.
Not many.
All of them.
Mhm.
All of
Yeah.
them.
Oh well,
Right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. We're everywhere. Everybody speaks English.
There's nowhere. Okay. But
Yeah.
in how many countries do American students speak the local language?
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
That's an issue.
We expect everybody to speak American, which is not the Queen's
Ego.
English, right? Ego,
Yeah.
right?
Ego.
So,
Big ass ego here.
the point that I'm driving at is right. Project managers spend 90% of their time communicating and 10% doing everything else.
That's true.
The other 10% is interpreting data and
Right.
and
But data is a form of communication, right?
uh,
Like if I I'm making this up. If I get up and I put on a suit and
mhm.
somebody sees me in a suit, it communicates that I'm going to do business, that I'm either a business owner or somebody. I guess sometimes it depends on the suit, right?
Right? Yeah.
Somebody high powered,
If I show
and
up in
I'm a
the
serious
Stacey
person.
Adams with the felt hat and the feather, right?
There you go.
That's a different communication.
It's different communication, but I mean, still, it's different than when I'm in my jogging gear like this morning,
Yep.
right?
Hmm.
Or something like that. So communication also matters. Think about military. If we're talking about different countries, right?
Yeah.
When you see a man or woman in military uniform, it communicates something. They're
Yep.
trained, they're skilled, they're part of a team. We understand because as we are trained as consumers through the eyes, that this
Mhm.
person has a certain level of skills and certain things that I don't, that they're able to protect and serve, and that they're part of
They have a
something.
deployment location that's monitoring their movements, right?
Yes,
Like even they may not necessarily be on base all the time, but that base knows where they are.
that's right. That's right. And they're communicating about that at all times, right?
Right.
So communication, even with if you have a team like in a business, if everybody's wearing the same shirt, it communicates something to the general populace or to the customer or end user or whatever. The Amazon guy, all
Mhm.
the Amazon people wear the same thing when they get off the truck and bring something to my house. I don't care
Yep.
if it's Bob, if it's Cindy. I know that they're from Amazon. They're communicating to me that yes, the thing I paid for has now arrived, right?
That's right.
And so, as far as project management goes, even in communications, which is part of project management, we're always communicating, whether it's verbally, visually, right, with data, digitally, whatever. But that's really important, and people tend to underestimate how important communication is on all levels, on all
That's
planes,
right.
right?
That's 100% true.
Yeah, man.
100% true, man. Well,
It's another
look,
show.
that's a whole other show. But I think we got a good start. I think we're in a good trend.
Yeah,
and we came up with a bunch of topics to lead into the next several different episodes. And man, this has been fun. We're gonna do it again.
absolutely. I can't wait. Let's do it again, man. We're gonna
All
keep it
right,
coming.
listen. Have a great afternoon, and I will see you soon.
All right, brother. We'll talk soon. Bye,
Yeah, sounds
everybody.
good. Take care.
All right, take care. Cheers.
All right.